In this world, virtual reality game is very popular. Then there was one game called Fantastic Kingdom VR, and it was the most popular among them. However, other game companies started producing better VR games, so it caused the Fantastic Kingdom VR game to get lower amount of players. In addition, the game company that handles the Fantastic Kingdom have created multiple data loss in their servers, causing more players to quit the game. The main character's father worked in that company, and his father was begging him to help, because the main character was knowledgeable in programming. The main character refuses his father's request, since he needed to study for exams. Then the main character's father gave the main character a special offer, and he will give him a game master privilege if he will help. Having the game master privilege, you can do a lot of cultured stuff in the game without any restrictions. So, the main character accepted his father's offer. After that, the main character started working on the game by making some unholy programming. The main character spent several days working, and made the game better, but he secretly made special adjustments to satisfy his personal desires using the game master privilege. The next day, the main character went to the library to meet an introvert who was a fellow library committee member. This committee member wanted to be a cheerful protagonist like in the fantasy novels she reads. Therefore, the main character will make her dream come true. The main character gave her a virtual reality headset, and he told her that the game will make her into a fantasy character that goes on adventure. Then the main character wanted her to play. She believes the main character's motivational speech, so she put on the virtual reality headset. The main character will also join her playing session, and they will play a multiplayer game. Then they played Sword Art Online Cultured version. As for her character build, she requested to be useful character with glamorous aura. The main character was role-playing as a god, and he granted her request. Then she woke up in a room from a medieval era, and she noticed that her nails were done, and her hair was pink color. In addition, she was dressed up lightly, and she realized that this frilly design looks like a dancer outfit, so she thinks that her game character was a dancer. Suddenly, a guy entered her room, and this man was an NPC. However, in reality, it was the main character playing as the NPC using his game master privilege. The main character plans on doing unholy activities, since he will be cancelled if he tries in real life. The NPC main character grabbed the melons from her front yard garden, and he was handling it with a special care. The advanced technology of this virtual reality headset can offer sensation. Therefore, the main character and the female committee member can feel the virtual world in real life. The NPC main character unleash his legendary sword, and he will give her a special treatment. Then the female committee member was rejecting the NPC main character. So, the NPC explained that this was the red light district, and her role was a physical therapist. Then the NPC main character gave her the clapping exercise. The main character was feeling an out-of-this-world experience, because it was an entirely different level compared to performing a solo exercise. Meanwhile, she thinks that this NPC was just a villain attack, and she have no idea that it was the main character in disguise. In addition, she was already enjoying the game. She can feel the game events in real life. So, she was creating a rainy day in her seat. Then she was worried that this game might unlock her bad girl behavior in real life, and she might turn into a woman of culture. The NPC main character continued the clapping exercise, and she keeps on producing the crystal clear mineral water. Then the main character gave her the rod of destruction, because she was close to reaching her ultimate enlightenment. Eventually, she turned into a water gun, and the main character gave her a creamy milkshake. After that, the main character left as a satisfied customer. She thought that the game was over, but she can hear someone approaching the door. So, she thinks that exiting the game will be the solution to get out from this situation. However, this was Sword Art Online, and log out button does not exist. In addition, her real-life body cannot remove it too. Suddenly, her next customer come into her physical therapy clinic. Then the customer was a 7 feet tall ogre. Therefore, her sacred sanctuary is not safe from this massive creature. 3 hours later, and the gaming time was now over. However, the female library committee member enjoyed the game too much, and she created a crystal clear waterfalls. The main character removed the virtual reality headset, and she looks very satisfied playing the unholy game. In the next scenario, the main character was walking in the hallway. Then he saw the female library committee member, and a background character was asking for her help for physical therapy purposes. So, the main character was successful in turning her into her true self. Then the main character left to give them some personal space to do their private transaction. The main character continued walking, and suddenly, he was easily tapped out by his female friend, because the main character is physically weak, and she is the type of girl that doesn't hold back their strength. The main character and this girl were childhood friends, and they have opposite personality, since she was a popular girl. The main character knows that she was a carefree type of person. So, he decided to invite her to his room to play a virtual reality game. Later that day, they went to the main character's room. Then the main character gave her the virtual reality headset. She put on the virtual reality headset, and she warned the main character not to do anything to her body while she was playing. The main character assured her that he was not interested in 3D girls. However, if the lady is in the virtual world, it will be a different story. Inside the virtual game, the female friend have many requests in her character build, like being a strong independent woman. Then the main character roleplaying as the game god decided to turn her into a female hero. After that, the female friend was awakened by the NPC merchant, and it was an escort quest situation. Then they continued their journey in the forest. The female friend noticed that she was wearing a bikini armor, so she thinks that this must be normal in games. Suddenly, a plant-type monster appeared. Then the NPC merchant was begging her to save him. The female friend hero pulled out her sword, and she managed to quickly chop some parts of the plant monster. She realized that her sword was overpowered, but the sword was actually the legendary Excalibur, and that sword looks like a silicone cucumber, so she throws it away. That was a bad idea for her to throw away her only weapon, because the plant monster has more arms. Then the monster managed to immobilize her completely. She realized that she have some magic, but her magic is not for combat. The plant monster started attacking by force-feeding her with a slithery cucumber, and plant monster was attacking her in every angle. She realized that the main character might be the one controlling the plant monster, since he was the one who invited her to play this cultured game. The female friend knows that something fishy was ongoing, but she can't prove it. Eventually, the continuous attack have made her reach the peak of success, and the plant monster poured her a fresh milk slime. Then that curse fluid have dissolved her equipment, and it made her defense zero. The female friend called out the main character, because she wanted to quit the game. However, they haven't reached the climax of the plant monster versus hero battle. Therefore, the game continues, and the plant monster unleash its massive organic sword. Then she received the clapping exercise, and she was a beginner in this kind of activity. She knows that this is bad for her, because it might awaken her cultural instinct. So, she was asking help from the NPC merchant, but the NPC merchant ran away cowardly. Meanwhile, the plant monster unleashed a second massive organic sword, and there was a trespassing action in her back door. The female friend was now experiencing the double trouble, and her real-life body was turned into a water dispenser. Then the female friend was now appreciating the quality of the game. The plant monster versus hero battle have reached the finale, and she receives an overflowing forbidden vegan creamy milkshake. After that, she thought that it was now over. However, there were still more plant monsters in the area, and this will be a battle of endurance.
Yeah, boy.
The next day, the main character passed by his female friend. Then she stopped the main character to have a private discussion. The female friend whispered to the main character, and she wanted to play the virtual reality game again. Of course, the main character was happy to let her play again. That's the end of this cultural anime recap. Moral lesson of the story: don't throw away your weapon in the middle of battle. Anyways, here is your virtual sauce, and make sure that it's limited to the culturally matured people only, and thank you for watching.